For the past 7-ish months, I've been doing school completely online, because, and all of my professors teach over Zoom. And the thing I have seen, more than I would have expected, is professors that just don't read chat. And so in this video, I'm going to try to make a case for them. Explain why this might be. But before I make my case, I'm going to do something I've never done before, which is ask you to subscribe. Apparently just straight up asking viewers to subscribe at the beginning of videos works, so I figured I'd give it a shot. Subscribing doesn't really help you, but it helps me out a lot, so it'd be dope if you subscribed. Thanks. Alright, now let's go through some reasons why professors don't read chat. Reason number 1, they just don't know it's a thing. Which you might think is a weak argument, because how could this be possible? The dumbest person in our class knows how to use the chat. I know, because they're constantly typing in it. It's me. I'm that person. So wouldn't it make sense for the professor, the supposed smartest one in the Zoom call, to be aware of the chat? But just because someone is a professor doesn't mean they're smart. It just means they know more about one topic than the average person. Professors are one-dimensional, and one-dimensional people are the worst to have a conversation with. Actually, let me make a disclaimer. I'm not saying all professors are one-dimensional, but if they do nothing outside of professing, they don't really have much to talk about. The only time that person is fun to be around is on like select trivia nights, when their field of study is the subject in question. But even then, what are you guys going to talk about on the car ride home, So yeah, anyways, reason 1 that professors don't read chat is because they might not know it exists. Reason 2, they only have one computer screen, and they just don't know how to Alt-Tab. Or they think that when you Alt-Tab, the window that goes away forever. This is the same person that will ask you for tech help, and then when you tell them to open a window, they'll be like, really? It's already kind of cold in here, don't you think? Reason number 3, they can't take criticism. This is one of the worst case scenarios. If a student asks them to explain something because it didn't make sense the way they said it, they might be like, oh, I'm sorry, do you have a diploma? Doesn't seem like you have a degree in this field of study. Yeah, no. The only degree you have is a stick of deodorant. Okay, champ? Another thing that could happen is a student could ask a professor to speak louder or slow down if they're going too fast, and the professor might be like, no, this is fine. But they're not allowed to be the judge of that. That's not a valid argument to just be like, no, this is fine, because whatever it is to the student is what it is. For example, if you're being mean to someone and they tell you, you're being mean, you can't just say, no, I'm not. It's not up to you, it's up to the other person. If someone tells you you're being mean, you can't just say, no, I'm not, and expect them to be like, oh, right, yeah, that's a good point. Didn't think about it that way. Reason number 4, they don't think students have anything important to say. This is kind of like the last one. It comes from that same place of insecurity, except in this case, it's masked by a heavy layer of ignorant confidence. A professor will blindly believe that their lectures and class materials are sufficient, so a question is just an unnecessary detour from the class, and frankly, a waste of everyone's time. I tell you what, the worst teachers are the ones that have stopped learning. Yeah. And the 5th and final reason professors don't read chat is because they just don't give a shit. Because they don't have to. I mean, what are they gonna do, lose their job? The only way a professor gets fired is if they do something weird with a student. And it seems like even then, they got a good few years before any of it goes public. And then when it does go public, there'll be a year-long investigation because the university is gonna be like, oh geez, we can't get rid of a math professor. You know how hard it is to get one of those? And if we get rid of one, then we'll only have 28 math professors. Alright, well, if your professor doesn't read chat, I hope this video was able to bring you some more clarity as to why that might be. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, like the video if you enjoyed, and remember, just because your professor doesn't read your messages in chat, doesn't mean they have anything against you. Actually, it might mean that. Yeah.